Hey everyone. Now, I showed you in a video about maybe I don't know how many months ago, a video called my Berenstain Bears collection. Well, you might have noticed that I talked about a certain group of books in that collection, and I want to go into a little bit more detail about those books. Now, we all know, growing up with the Berenstain Bears, that the main books we used to read were the first-time books, and sometimes to step into reading books, and the first-time readers. We used to read them all. I mean, stories of trouble in school, trouble with friends, the bad dream, go to the doctor, moving day, and so far up to the more recent ones that have a Christian connection, like Sunday school, prayers, and such. But did you know from the mid-90s, basically from the early 90s, early to mid-90s, up to the early 2000s, up to 2000 itself, that there was another book series that came out? And this book series was aimed towards older kids. That's right. Now, although the first-time books and first-time readers and the step-into books were more for like the preschools and kindergartens up to 3rd, 4th grade, these were targeted more for the 5th grade up, if you will, even up to adults, if you like to say. What books am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about none other than a series of Berenstain Bears books called the Big Chapter Books, which are these. Now, I am happy to say that I own every Berenstain Bears Big Chapter book. I do, believe it or not. I mean, I had to go on eBay, I had to go all over the web just to find them, but I got them. And you might ask yourself, well, what is the Big Chapter book series about? Well, like I said, it's targeted more towards the older readers. In other words, the 4th to maybe 5th graders that start getting out of the Berenstain Bears and the first-time books into a more older, more mature section of stories. Well, that's what the Berenstain Bears Big Chapter books deal with. They still have the same charm and lesson learning things that you found in the first-time readers, the first-time books, but with a more mature, more lengthy, more complex kind of story. I mean, they deal with things that are not just lesson-like, but they deal with things that are different. For example, let me get two of my favorites out. These are two of my personal favorites. New Girl in Town, which came out in 1993, right here, and also in 1993, Gotta Dance. Now, why am I talking about these? Well, believe it or not, these dealt with situations that were not really dealt with that much in the first-time books. And that is boy-girl stories. That's right. Now, you might say to yourself, boy-girl stories, that sounds more like some of those other authors that used to come up with those romance stories. Well, that's kind of like what some of these are. I mean, for example, The New Girl in Town is a story that's sort of inspired, believe it or not, by the Romeo and Juliet plays. For example, we have Brother Bear in this story, who obviously turns out to be one of the cutest, if not one of the most handsome cubs in the school. And a lot of girls have a crush on him. Well, Brother, you know, at that age, like many kids are, going from kid to young teenager, young adult, who kind of, you know, is kind of in that stage like, I don't want to be around girls, you know, I have other things to do. Well, in this story, he actually does start to develop the feelings for a girl. That's right. For a girl that's new to his school. A girl that actually lives not that far away from him. What's her name? Well, this is the girl I'm talking about. Bonnie Brown. She's a new character. Believe it or not, she is a new character in the Berenstain Bears franchise that was introduced only in these books. Now, true, her name was mentioned a couple of times in the first-time books, and I think even in the cartoon series. But this is Bonnie Brown. From what the book says, she is the niece of Squire and Lady Grizzly. And the reason she's living with them is because her and her parents are actors and models. You know, unlike her parents though, she's sort of part-time, so she only goes when she's needed to act and model. Mainly, most of the time, she lives with her aunt and uncle. Now, basically, you might ask yourself, well, what's it got to do with Romeo and Juliet? Well, believe it or not, brother starts to develop a crush on this girl. And this girl actually helps brother out because of his crush on her, starts getting made fun of by some of the girls that had a crush on him. And so to kind of help him get even, or help him kind of top them, if you will, she kind of suggests, hey, why not show them you have a girlfriend? Why not show them that, you know, I am your girlfriend? Let's go in that direction. So at least until things die down, things will be okay. But wouldn't you know it that at the same time, they become friends, and they sort of pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend. An old feud starts up. An old feud that started in the Civil War years, if you will, according to the book. And now it's starting up again for some odd reason. Which, basically, this war is a feud between bears and grizzlies. And of course, Bonnie being a grizzly, and brother being a bear, you might see where this is heading. Where this is heading is the fact that Squire Grizzly forbids Bonnie from seeing brother, except, you know, he knows that brother and her and brother are going to see each other in school. And wouldn't you know it, one of the upcoming spring plays they got to do is Romeo and Juliet. And of course, brother and, you know, Bonnie end up getting apart. And you basically get the idea if you've read this book. If you've read this kind of a book, you basically get the idea of what happens. In the end, the performance of Romeo and Juliet kind of make the adults realize, you know, this feud was just stupid. You know, why were we even fighting, kind of deal. But that's what it kind of dealt with. But during this whole thing, you might find out, if you read this book or if you have read it, that because of this separation, and that the fact they couldn't hang out with each other as friends as they start doing at the end of the book, because they're not ready to take that next step, they start to kind of want to go steady, if you will, because of this separation. But again, if you've read this book or you haven't, I suggest you do read it, because this is the kind of stories I'm talking about. Excuse me for a second. Okay, I've still got plenty of time. Now, the same goes for this story, but it's a little bit more different. See, unlike this one, where it's mostly a, you know, Romeo and Juliet, this is known as Gotta Dance. Now, believe it or not, throughout the entire book series, with Bonnie in it, we start seeing that brother does enjoy having Bonnie as a friend, but does have a bit of a crush on her. So he still has these feelings. And we find out Bonnie is the same way. She still has the same feelings for brother. Well, anyway, in this story, to make a long story short, there's a spring dance coming up. Brother doesn't know how to dance, but Bonnie wants him to go with her. And if Bonnie can't go with brother, she doesn't want to go at all. Instead, she'll go with brother to like a movie or just hang out. Anyway, brother is determined that he doesn't want Bonnie to miss out on the first spring dance she's been to at Bear Country School, so he decides he needs to learn to dance somehow. And wouldn't you know it, Bonnie and sister are taking ballet classes at a local ballet school. So what happens in the end is a deal struck between the ballet teacher and brother. A deal that basically has brother participate in the recital in exchange that the teacher would teach him in private some of the latest dance moves. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, these are the kind of books kind of stories I'm talking about. And the same thing with these two. This is basically where they want to turn a musical, you know, an annual musicale, if you will, into a rock contest. And this is where they try to find a new hangout, seeing as those are some crimes taking place and they're getting blamed for them at a mall. But, sorry, I had to take my time again. But overall, these are very good stories. But overall, that's exactly what these kind of books are about. There's other stories as well, like letting girls on the football team. You know, how basically how camps, boy and girl camps, can cause crushes on people. Things like that. Hollywood. Ants, mysteries. You know, things that you would never expect in a first-time reader's book of the Berenstain Bears. But that's all I have to say on the Big Chapter Book Series. If you want any more, just ask me. Or any information, just ask me. I'll Google it, and I guarantee you'll find it. Until next time, I'm Brian saying peace out, and God bless.